Hi there guys, I am Mouse and welcome to a really funny game called the Stanley Parable. So, I had a quick look at this game and I just thought it was really funny. There's not too much to tell about it. Most of it you will actually discover as you play the game. So I think let's just get into it and then we can have a look at it from there. The end is never the end. Yeah, suppose so. Alright, click
This is
skip.
the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-ending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So there you go. That's the backstory of it. And this really looks like a very dreary little cubicle or little office. A soul-sucking corner, really. So what's funny about this game is the narrator. British humor is always funny. So I am gonna let the narrator talk as far as I can, try not to interrupt him because he is really funny. Alright, so let's have a look. What's happening over here? Nothing. Cool. So this is a very interesting concept to a game whereby your actions depend on the actual outcomes of the game and also the narrator. He is really trying to, I would say, help you, but you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So funny.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That was locked. That was locked. Everything's locked. Nobody's here.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find it. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Really? Did it really? It's so funny fucking around with this guy, actually. But it's so intuitive and well done, actually, that depending on what you do is dependent on what he actually says. So that really makes it worthwhile either fucking with him or just agreeing or doing what he says. Oh, that PC's on. That guy was playing solitaire. At work. Desk. Oh, somebody spilled the coffee. I hate Monday. Yeah, don't we all? Except for last week Monday. That was one of the days that I didn't.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Do we go left? Do we go right? I'm feeling right. It's just fuck with
This
the
was
system.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I didn't know that perfectly fucking well, you idiot. Come on. So funny, actually.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
You know what, this is actually a decent room compared to some of the rooms that I've seen.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Yeah, I suppose.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ooh, that one? Or that one? Ah, let's just go with him on this one.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Did he? Okay, suppose this would have been the door on the left then, as he said before. So let's have a look where we end up.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ooh, broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Really? Did we really? Is there nothing that we can touch here?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Alright, fine, fuck it. I'll carry on. Play your game.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, I went downstairs. What, you're not going to say anything about this?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
Dreaming.
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head.
Groundhog Day?
One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
Yeah.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of the world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
No, I think you're actually fucking boring as all hell, dude. You're thinking pushing buttons that was told to you
Stanley
all
began
day.
screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Jeez, dude.
And everything went black.
Okay.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
Oh.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. So that's like the end of it now. Suppose that's one of the endings. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's so funny. You do something wrong, it's got a very humorous way of actually bringing you back. And then you can fuck with the system completely and end up like that.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, fine. We'll go left. Dum-de-dum-de-dum.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yes, we've heard this one already. So we're going up the stairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Fine, we'll do that. Damn, dude! This is nice! Whoa!
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Exactly. So where the fuck did I read it, dude? Where did I hear it? Was I eavesdropping?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Yeah.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
What? No faith in the player figuring that shit out or on his own? Has to be pure dumb luck. Shine the light on me. Okay, where are we going? I suppose down. Ooh, that's dark. Okay. And there's nothing else we can click on. It's just a very funny game. Down we go. Oh, okay. Not so long. Thought it was going to be a longer.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay. I was about to say I thought it was going to be a longer elevator ride, but okay.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Or we can just escape. But that's actually quite intriguing, Mind Control Facility. So I think sometimes a lot of us actually feel like that in our jobs, daily jobs. It's sort of a mind control thing. You're just sitting there mindlessly, working day after day. Unless you have a cool job. And in that case, fuck you. I'm jealous. Okay. Ominous. Lights. Camera?
Lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Cerebro!
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yeah, where's Professor X? And Wolverine, who's not allowed to smoke. Come on. It has to be. Alright, fine. Let's go. Click, click, click. What's that? Employee observation protocol. Ooh. Area 51 shit, this. Ah, you see. It's lights. Camera. Where's action?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
The architect in the Matrix.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Where's Owls? Shit, I should have looked at the numbers before. Ah, now we can see them. Where are we? 427. There's the office, right in the middle there. Awesome. Okay, so where's Trinity? We have to need to save her or something? Oh, so it's lights, camera, man. What the fuck happened to action? Or was it action man?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Well, who the fuck knows, dude?
No. He
Mind fucked.
refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay, how do we do that? Big red button! Big red button! Press! Go on! Click! Click! Do something! Ah, damn it! Always wanted to push a big red button. Come on, now what do we have to do now? Facility power. Maybe it's in there. Shut down the power. One controls idle, awaiting input. Need input! Major input!
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Bum bum bum. Okay, dude. Let's see. What did I do? What did I do?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won.
Shit.
He had defeated the machine.
Ooh.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command.
It was the
Freedom
Matrix.
was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
Yeah.
But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
This is actually very nice scenery. Well done. Definitely. Makes me think of those old, either the English countryside or maybe Scottish, little cobblestone paths.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
He was happy. Awesome. Well, I mean, got through both endings. Crazy Psycho dead, or happy and free. No, I'm not going to go through that again. No. So, that's actually it for this game. Still, very quirky, very fun game. Not too much to it really, but still, it's an interesting concept, and it's just really funny to fuck around with the narrator. I think that was my main goal. It's just so fun to do that. But unfortunately, that's it for this episode. So I hope you guys liked it. If you did like the video, hit that like button and subscribe. Then I'll see you guys next time. Bye. That happen while you actually play the game and how they correlate to the actual gameplay. It's amazing to see that the tracking on it, how accurate it is. Some of the